Okay, so I see that we are live, and just a few moments we are going to begin. I'm using a new platform, so well, not new. I've used it before. I just haven't used it specifically doing a Facebook Live. So just bear with me for a few moments as I make sure everything is set up properly. And I would like to know if you can hear me. So if we do have someone on live here. If you can put a note in the chat that you can hear me, and I'm going to attempt to open this event um, on Facebook. I think it takes a few minutes for it to be live, so I'll just keep an eye on this so that I can see what you see, because I don't see what you see. All right, so I'll keep an eye on that and see if I can figure that one out. All the different pieces to figure out. All right. So yeah, I don't see it here yet. So hopefully you have figured out how to get on this. So I'm going to, let's see, get some of my banners going here. Let's do that since we've begun. So we'll change that over. And as you can see, I'm in the main space of my house, which means we may or may not make it through this without interruption. And let's see. Dun, dun, dun. If I click here, it says, oh, there you go. All right, awesome. Okay, so I did manage to get my Facebook up so I can see what you see. That's what I wanted to do. So if you can just give a quick hello and let me know that you're here watching, that would be lovely. I would like to know that you can hear me and see me okay. So please put a note in the chat just saying you can hear or see me. I'm going to actually say hi to myself. Hi, Marianne. How are you? I'm wonderful. Thank you. And I want to make sure that's working. And I see a few people are starting to come on, so we are going to get this started in a moment. Okay, that's not showing up in my chat. Why is that? Oh, because I'm not in comments. Oh, there. All right, so that's working. So please say hi if you're here, so that I can see you. And that is Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. By the way, there should be a link, and again, I'm using a new platform this way, so just bear with me, and I appreciate your support on this. But you do have to allow StreamYard to show your name. So there should be a link in the event that says allow StreamYard to show my name. I think that's what it says. I'll go look at it and see. Um, yeah, so it says I'm going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com Facebook. So if you click on that, it will let me see your name when you leave a comment. Now I'm cheating a little bit. So I have the comments in StreamYard, but I'm also watching them in Facebook so that I don't miss anybody. And you'll see why I want it to show your name in a few moments. So if you can click on that link, that'd be great. And then after you've clicked on it, just say hi and have a drink your tea or coffee, or if you're having lunch, have a bite. I can't see you, so you can eat. And okay, so yes, let's just breathe and get into this. I had a little bit of a crazy moment leading up to this. I think considering that this workshop is moving from chaos to calm, it seems very fitting what happened in the 20 minutes prior to this starting, and I'll share that as we go along. So, and anyone watching this on the replay, just put replay in the comments because I'm going to be interacting with the comments afterwards as well. All right, I'm Marianne. Hi, everyone. I am your spiritual hostess. What does that mean? Well, I call myself a spiritual guidance counselor, and basically, I always say my purpose is to help you see the light inside of you and give it permission to shine so brightly that you can't help but see how amazing you are. So that's what I do. So I do that in a lot of different ways. I do that here on Facebook. With my community, I have a very exclusive private community and Shine membership, which I'll talk about briefly at the end for anyone who doesn't know that exists. And I do card readings, as many of you know. In fact, I see a few of you here who have received either a card pull or reading from me. I see Alma's watching. Hi, Alma. And Sarah, I saw that you were on there as well. And please say hi in the chat just so we know that you're here. And do grant StreamYard permission to show your name, and I'll show you why that's important in a few moments. By the way, there's a broadcast studio for this. So if you want to enter it, you can. I in the Q&A section at the end, I may bring you on screen and we can chat, but I won't do that during the presentation part of this. So I help people shine the light inside of them so brightly that they can't help but see how amazing they are. And that's what led me to say to the community, what is it that you would like to learn about? Because I have so many ideas and so many tips and tricks and techniques and things that I can share. And I never know where to start. So you're my beautiful community. And so I asked you, what do you want? And we had a very distinct vote for this topic, but a very close vote for another one, which I'll do at a later time. So, so just a reminder in the Facebook Live, there is actually, I'm going to see, give me a second here. I'm going to see if I can post this in chat. How do I do that? And I will go a little, well, I didn't set a time, so I don't need to tell you that. But I was going to say, I will go a little bit over what I was planning to, just because I am doing some housekeeping stuff here with all of you. So let me go grab, you're probably going to hear me talk. You're going to hear an echo. Just give me one moment here. Permission link. Can I get it this way? So there's a link in the event that says, please grant StreamYard permission to show your name when you leave comments. So if you could do that, that would be lovely. I'm just trying to figure out how to grab that comment for you so that I can put that in. This is where I said I'm at home and things might be a little bit, I'm in the main space, so things might be a little bit loud. Okay, let's see if this works. So let me post this link and see. Okay, so I'm not sure if that link will work. Somebody maybe just test it out and let me know. And that way, when you leave a comment, I will actually see your name. Let's move the video here so you don't have to see all the stuff happening behind the scenes. Okay. All right, so I think that I'm ready to begin. So I need to share my screen. So I'm going to go grab that. Bear with me just for another moment while I get this up. There we go. And we're going to do. So I like to do slideshows when I do presentations. I just find it keeps me on task. Because quite frankly, I could just be here and hang out with you and chat all afternoon, but I'm sure you have other things that you want to do as well. So this is how I keep myself on task for you. So let's see, we're going to go to share screen, and it should ask me which screen I want to share, which is this. Oh, look, this is the first time I'm doing this part. Yay. Oh, I am sharing, but now I don't see me. So hang on a second. I think there's a way that I have to fix that. So we're going to go in here. All right. Okay. So please let me know that you can see my screen and that you can see me, if you would. Be so kind. Let me know if that's working. Oh, I see something here. That's all right. That's all right. Okay. So I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to go into this just until someone lets me know if they can see me on the screen. And you can also see my screen, which says how to move from chaos to calm in the moment. So it's a PowerPoint. We can see both. Okay. Thank you very much. That was Christina. Thank you. Hi, Christina. I'm so glad you could make it. I had quite a few people who wanted to make it and couldn't, but that's okay. The reason I'm streaming to Facebook Live is so that it will continue to show up there. So. All righty then, let's begin. Now, can I click on this to change things? So we're talking about how to move from chaos to calm in the moment. And so there's various things that I've incorporated into my life that I do on a regular basis. and I very much want to share everything with you. And but there's I can't share everything all at once. So I'm excited to share these tips, tricks, and techniques on how you can move from chaos to calm in the moment. Now let me make sure my if I click here, my slideshow is working. Um, no, which means I have to click on the slideshow. Okay, well, that's fine. Let's go get the slideshow and let me click on that. And does that change? No. Okay. Well, here we go with our fun tech challenges. So give me a second here. And oh, no, it is working. I think it's just delayed because I can see what you see now. So okay, so here's what you can expect from this workshop. This is a mini workshop, which means it's not very long, about 30 to 45 minutes. Now, I just spent the first, 10 minutes getting oriented, and I do appreciate your patience with that. As I do this more, I'll get more used to this system. There is going to be a Q&A at the end, so I do stick around for that. So anyone who has questions and answers will play at the end. You can enter the studio if you want to. That's always a fun time. And if you don't have your, nice cup of tea or coffee and you want to grab it or some water, go ahead. I want this to be fun, informative, and casual. Chat will be open throughout the presentation, so please post in chat, and we will interact that way. And do please participate so that I know you are here. That's the weird thing about doing it this way versus Zoom. And I'm playing with the different methods because when it's a Zoom and you're on the screen, I can see you and we can all interact. But this way, I'm just talking and I don't really know that you're here unless you post something in chat. So use chat lots, even if it's just to say, yeah, great, hey, wonderful. I'm going to get a drink of my tea or whatever you want to say. And the presentation will be available as a replay in the group. So if you miss anything for any reason, you can pop back and get that. All right. So I think there's a tiny little delay between when I click on a slide and when it shows up in Facebook. There it is. So I was pausing for that transition. All right. What does it mean to be in chaos? This is one of those times that I want to hear from you. So I want to know, what does it mean to be in chaos? So just give me some examples of what a chaotic moment might be for you. And if you can post that in chat, that would be lovely. And let's see if I can play around with this just a little bit. All right, so all right, so here's where if I can't see your name, I don't know who's posting. So if you can click on the link that says please allow StreamYard to see my name, that would be great. I know who it is because I'm watching Facebook too, so I have a little workaround. And I'm going to show you why I asked you to do that. Because Christina said feeling overwhelmed. So see, I can bring your comments up here, but your name won't appear unless you allow StreamYard to use your comments. So I'll do a little debrief after this and find out if that was difficult for people to do. All right, so feeling overwhelmed, yes. Yeah, we're going to talk about the feelings around chaos. So definitely overwhelm is one of those. And what are some other, like, give me an example of something that might cause some chaos in your life. So while you're thinking about that, I'm going to share with you what happened to me 10 minutes before this, right, Finn? Yeah, so Finn's here with me. You walk behind me and show them this beautiful cat. This is not the cat in the story. This is one cat. This is Jack. Hello, sweetheart. Lumpy is the cat in the story I'm about to share with you. So, hi, baby. Finn's getting Lumpy, and he's going to bring Lumpy up. This is Lumpy. We had a little scare. Hi, baby. Yeah, we did. So I was getting ready to do this presentation. I thought, I'm going to have a little bite to eat before I do that. And let me take this off here. I'm going to have a little bite to eat before I do that. No, that didn't happen because my husband came home. He had gone to the grocery store and he came home and he said, I just saw a fluffy black cat run across the road. Now, I'm not going to tell you the whole story behind this yet because it's actually coming up in the slide. I'm only going to tell you that I had 25 minutes before this presentation started. I jumped in the car, tore up the road to see if I could find this fluffy black cat. I did not find it. And I came back, and when I came back, there was this ruckus happening in the house. I'm like, what is happening here? And the dog was going crazy, which he usually does when I leave, and the cats normally tear up the house. I thought that was it, but I went in and I heard the little gray cat, Lumpy, Wallumps, we call him Lumpy. I heard him breathing weirdly, and he has a bit of breathing issue. And we just got them a few months ago, and he has cat cold. And so I thought he was having trouble breathing. So I picked him up, and his mouth was open. I thought he was choking, so he had a heart attack. And I realized I had put a harness on him because we left him out with harnesses, also linked to the black cat story. And he got his mouth caught in it. So his jaw was stuck open. The harness was on it. I was trying to get it off. The dog was around me in frantic mode. The cat was flipping around. I'm pretty sure I got clawed. I was panicking, yelled to Finn to come out. That's what happened 5 minutes before this presentation. So, there's a complete chaotic moment that took place. And when it was done, I thought, you know what? This is my community. And if I'm even on here late or frazzled, they're going to understand. I hadn't even made the connection at that point between this workshop and what just happened. And I calmed the kitty cat down, and I put my hands on him and did a little Reiki on him, and hugged him and kissed him, and brought his calmed him down. And of course, as I was doing that, I was calming myself down. So, thank you, universe. Like, it just amazes me at how things just, line up the way that they're supposed to. And that this moment happened right before this workshop where I'm talking about from chaos to calm. So what does it mean to be in chaos? So let me go back over to my presentation. And so chaos is defined as, and so I just pull a little view from the Oxford Dictionary. Complete disorder and confusion. Well, that's exactly what I had 20 minutes ago. Complete disorder and confusion. There was stuff all over the place. They knocked things down. I didn't know what was going on. And so, that's how chaos is defined. Well, what are some examples of chaotic moments? Well, I just gave you an example of my chaotic moment, but other examples might be, so there's this thing that I call psycho mom. And I used to say that to the kids. The kids would do something that would just be so chaotic and 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 so upsetting. And I would just go into this. I just called it psycho mom. I mean, that's who I was. I was like this different person. I don't know who you are. You're not Marianne. You're psychotic and you're losing it. And I was psycho mom. So many of those moments in my life. Um, Road rage. Anyone ever had that? I mean, not to the point, hopefully, that you got out and you tried to hurt somebody, but driving in your car and you're so upset. So I want to hear in the comments if you've ever had moments of road rage, and I have definitely. In fact, maybe less than a month ago, I remember there was 2 or 3 days in a row, and I was just angry driving, and I'm like, "What is going on?" And I just was so mad at the people who were driving slow or doing ridiculous things. And in fact, going to work last week, I was on the highway, and I there was construction, and I was annoyed. So I get annoyed very easily, by the way, but I shift out of it very quickly nowadays. So I was annoyed because they just put the twin highway, and it seems like there's constantly construction there. And I'm on my way to work, and I'm typically rushed. I'll share that one in a second. And so we had construction, but everybody was stopping, and I'm like, why are we stopping? It's like it's a double lane highway. They only have one lane, and there was a car in front of me stopped, and there was this guy talking to the person in the car in front of me. And I thought, "Oh, okay." And they had a vest on. They weren't a worker. They were, I don't know what they were at that point. And I thought they're telling them what's going on. So, sometimes that happens. There's a lineup of cars, and someone will come to the cars and say, "Oh, this happened. This is what's going on." So I'm like, "Okay." And he starts yelling at the person in the car in front of me. So I'm actually 3 cars back. So that car, another one, me. And he's yelling. I could see him. His hands were going. You can't really hear him. And I'm like, what is happening here? And then the car starts to drive away, and the guy gets mad, and he walks in front of the car, and he hits the engine bonnet, and he has this big bag with him, and he goes around the side, and he takes the bag, and he hits the car, and the back window smashes out. Well, I'm there in that moment going, what the hell is going on here? The car in front of me is trying to get away. I'm looking for an escape route because I'm thinking there's like a cycle on the highway, and I'm like, where did he come from? And I'm glancing around, of course, and this all happens in 10 seconds, but it feels like an hour of your mind. And eventually he goes off to the side. Two workers come up that are working there, and and they start talking to this car. So I think, okay, this car's taken care of. crazy person's over here. The car in front of me gets around. I go around, so I'm getting heck out of Dodge. And I call 911 immediately to let them know what's going on. And I notice that there is a motorcycle off to the side and skid marks. So obviously something happened. I don't know what. And there was road rage. So my road rage isn't that bad, but I witnessed that. So again, what does it mean to be in chaos? Complete disorder and confusion. That's what that moment was. It was complete disorder. It was confusion. I didn't know what was going on. I'm not entirely sure the people in the car knew what was going on. Which leads me to the one I said, running late is another example of chaotic moment. Come on, how many people have done it? Post in chat, let me know. Anyone here ever been late, lost their keys, can't find the shirt they're gonna wear, they're trying to get somewhere. It's chaotic, right? And frustrating and etc. And then I put just feeling off because it doesn't have to be those big examples I just shared with you. Sometimes it's just the simpler things. And for me, I said I get annoyed a lot. I don't actually as much as I used to, and I don't stay there as much as I used to. But there are times where I just feel off. I'm just I'm annoyed. I just call it being annoyed because I can't think of anything else to call it. I'm just feeling annoyed. Things annoy me. I'm off. So those are some examples of chaotic moments. So, what are some emotions that come up when we're in chaos? And I'm going to go back to, oh, Christina, you see how to allow your name now. Yay. So Christina already said, I'm just going to bring that one up again, feeling overwhelmed, right? Like that's one of the feelings. So I want to hear from you. Put some feelings in chat. That's not the only one. So what are some emotions? Overwhelm is one of them. And I just want to show you the reason I asked you to allow StreamYard to use your name, because then we can see your beautiful face, Christina, and I can put your name up on here. And you were saying, yes, you've had road rage. Someone almost hit us. Yes, yes, I've had that happen actually too. I had a car, it was on the highway and it was coming on the other way, and it crossed the center line, and I moved over to the right, and it went past me on our side of the road, hit the car behind me. I saw it flip and go in the ditch, like, thank you, Jesus, because that could have been me, and it would have been a head-on collision. So yeah, so let's get some emotions here. So anxious. Yep, absolutely. And Dorothy says frustration. Dorothy, your name doesn't show up because you have to allow StreamYard to use your name, but I can see you on Facebook. So frustration, yeah, anxious, overwhelmed, frustration, right? These are um, all of the things that we feel. I'm going to do my little switch here back. Okay. Because I want to get back to the PowerPoint. So I threw a few other emotions in here: anger, sadness, frustration. You got that one. Grief, regret. I think that was the last one I had. So, so this is chaos, complete disorder, confusion. It can be very severe. It can be very mild, just feeling off, and everything in between. All right, we have defined chaos. So now we're going to talk about moving from chaos to calm in the moment. So my point with doing this was talking about some simple things that you can do to shift in the moment and return to a state of calm. Because the thing is, you're never going to not have these things. They're going to happen. What I want for you is that you're able to shift out of them quickly. You're able to diminish them. You're able to move through them with grace and ease. Now I've drunk tea. I feel like I'm purposely pausing in this presentation because that's the calm, right? I mean, even just doing the presentations, high energy, movement, and go and talk, and then you just stop. Take a sip of your tea and bring calm in. Tea is definitely a calming thing for me. So 3 simple things that you can do. That's what we're going to talk about next. So tip number 1, I see Finn roaming around out there, and he was my inspiration for this story. So I put thanks, Finn, for the great reminder. And you will see that there is a symbol there, and it is the Om symbol, and that means something to me. So it is the Om symbol in yoga, right? So if you do yoga, of course, it's the Om, which is not just a symbol, but a sound. And it means unity and oneness. And it's the unity of the body, mind, and spirit. And if you've been hanging out with me, you know that I play around with numerology. And the number three is that it's the body, mind, spirit. If you look at this, it looks like it says 30, but it doesn't. It's the Om symbol. So something happened on the weekend. So Finn and I went to get matching tattoos. You might have seen my post on Facebook. And so I have, okay, let me see if I can put this in the thing. I'm not sure. I'll put it right in front of my face. So that's the Om symbol. In order for you to see it right, it would have to go that way. Anyway, this is the Om symbol, and this it is. So Finn drew this for us to get matching. I'm 55 years old in a couple months, and currently 54. But hey, whatever, 55. I like double digits, as you know. I play with those a lot. Never had a tattoo in my life. Never wanted a tattoo in my life. However, Finn drew this and agreed to get matching tattoos. And so that was very special to me. And I really, the Om symbol means something to me. And so in the symbol he did, there's also a chrysanthemum, the flower, which is meaningful as well. So, so yeah, where am I going with this? Focus, Marianne. So we're sitting there having the we said, who's going first? And I said, why don't you go first? Because I was a little nervous and I never had it done. And he'd done it on himself, but he never had it done professionally. And so he had his first. So that was really great because I got to kind of watch and see the process. But not only that, we got the same tattoo, which means the tattoo artist did his first and then did mine, which means mine went faster because he had already done one. So I said to Finn at one point as we were interacting, how is it? And he said, or when he was done, I said, how was that? And he said, it was okay. I just remembered to breathe. I'm like, oh, yes. That was a moment when I really reflected on. Do you know those moments when your kids say something and you think, yes, they got it. I taught them something and it sticks. And it stuck. That was this moment. So, tip number one, breathe. Now, you might think, well, Marianne, I already know that. Of course, I have to breathe. We all know that. Sure, we know it, but how often do we do it correctly? And how often do we do it? So, what I want you to get with breath is do it correctly, do it deeply, and do it often. And we're going to actually play with this because that's what I like to do. And before we do that, I'm just going to check my comments. And, oh, I gotta get back into my comments. There we go. Okay. And because I was like anxious, frustration, I'm sick. I don't do sick well. Makes me really sad. Okay. I know that just took me back a little bit to what we were talking about, but I'd have to skip back and forth a little bit. All right. So we're going to talk about this. So we're going to play with breathing because it's so important. So first of all, we don't do it correctly. What do I mean by that? We don't belly breathe. As women, we tend not to belly breathe. Do you know why? Because we spend most of our life sucking our gut in. And you can't belly breathe when you suck your gut in. And you need to breathe in your belly. So you need to take a deep breath so it goes down into your belly. Let's just do that for a second. So I just want you to notice how you're breathing. Without doing anything, just notice how you're breathing. Do you know what I notice? I'm not deep breathing. Of course, I'm presenting that to you why. I'm shallow breathing into my chest. And I'm not even breathing a lot. And so when you notice that and you pause, your instinct is to take a breath. Notice where it goes. Mine went into my chest. It kind of went down to my diaphragm, but it didn't really move to my belly. So this time, I want you to take a breath right down to your belly. Let it expand in all its beautiful fullness and come back out. Okay, so that's correct breathing. So that deeply into your belly. You can even, here's a little tip, you can think about breathing down into your feet. So when you take a breath, you want to picture that breath going right down to the bottom of your feet. Let's do that. And then out. All right. So it doesn't necessarily really physically go to your feet, but when you do that, it has to go to your belly because it's heading to your feet. All right. So we're going to play a little bit more with this. So I use the count of 10 a lot. When I am in a moment and I need it to shift, I use the count of 10. 10 breaths. Now, I can tell you this sounds so simple, but it can be very difficult. And I have been at moments at work where I'm very tense and stressed for whatever reason. And I go, I'm just going to pause and I'm going to breathe to the count of 10. Sorry if I'm looking over there, but my kitty cats are playing by a glass statue. And if I get up very quickly, it's because they're going to knock it over. So, see how perfect this is with our topic? Let's count to 10. So I want you to take 10 deep breaths. This is going to feel like eternity, but let's do it. Okay. You can close your eyes if you want to. I like to. So we're going to breathe in. And we're going to breathe out. That's one. Now, do you see that was slow and deep? It was slow and deep. Two. Another little tip, you're going to want to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Ready? Three. How many of you already made it to 10? You're doing it too fast. In through your nose, out through your mouth. That's four. I want you to just keep breathing and I want you to notice what's happening to your body. I'm going to say that's six because I was talking. Notice how your shoulders drop. Notice how things start to calm. I'm going to say that was nine. Notice how everything slows down. You might feel tingles in your body. And we're going to go 10. All right. Ooh. Now, if you closed your eyes, there they go. Sorry. You're still going to hear me because I have a thing on my ears. I'm just going to move this statue out of the way so that doesn't happen. Nice way to end our 10 deep breaths. Thank you, kitties. All right. So, so that was 10. So you can use that. That is fantastic for road rage. That is fantastic when you are just met with some really instant situation where you're just feeling very tense and anxious. And so, what I noticed when we were having the tattoos was that I was breathing shallowly because I was tense. I was tensed up. I had stopped breathing. That's been reminded me to breathe. And so I started to deep breathe. Actually, I think I did Lamaze breathing at one point. I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I was pregnant. But I was practicing different breath techniques because there was some pain associated with it. So that's the count of 10. So you can use that in so many moments. But what I would like to encourage you to do, even outside of the chaos to calm, is just use that maybe once or twice a day. If you can just pause, get yourself to take those 10 breaths, do the count, and just notice the change in your body. So, not just in the moments of chaos, because you want to build that muscle. So, you're going to rely on that in those moments of chaos. Okay, so that was one. So I'm going to share two techniques with you. There's quite literally, I could share, probably six, seven, or eight of them. All right, 444. You know how much I love triple numbers, double numbers. We play with this, numerology, angel numbers. And so I wanted to do the 444 breath. And I'm the my apologies, the pets. You'll still hear me. I still have you in my ear. The dog wants to go out. Probably the cat does, but he's not. I want out, Tucker. This is my life with the animals. So the 444 breath. First of all, fours are all about foundations and um, just rebuilding the foundation. And then let's add it up. 4 plus 4 is 8 plus 4 is 12. I feel like doing like grade one math. 12, 1, 2, 3. There's our three. There's the own symbol. Three is about unity, body, mind, spirit. And so it's bringing all of those together. And so the 444 is really easy. You breathe into the count of four. You hold it for the count of four. And you let go at the count of four. So what it does is it gets you breathing slightly differently, takes your mind off of what's happening. But again, there's some physiological changes that happen when you do this. Let's do this together 3 times. Close your eyes if you want to. Breathe in, counting slowly to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. Release for 4. Do that again. You're going to breathe in, count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we're going to do one and I'm not going to count. So I'm going to do this one with you. So breathe in, hold it, and release. Notice what happens to your body. So that's the 4-4-4 technique. Oh, I'm feeling so calm already, which is actually saying something because I just shared with you what happened prior to this and what has happened since I've been on this. The cat's almost knocked over my glass cat statue. The dog wants to go in and out. My husband came home from shopping. I mean, there's just been many, many moments of interruption where normally when I do these, I like to be in a very quiet space. I don't like to have any interruptions at all. But I chose to do it in the main space today, which is kind of odd for me. So again, I believe things happen for a reason. So, what are the benefits of breath? Here, and this is just getting a little, scientific for you. We'll get out of woo-woo just for a moment. We'll just bring it back. So, the benefits are regulates the nervous system. Pretty important. If you're in chaos, it lowers the blood pressure. Well, that's probably going up in moments of chaos. It helps you breathe better. Now, that means it expands your lungs. Um, it just opens the way for you to breathe better just in generally, which does so many other things for your body because you're breathing more deeply and slowly and allowing that more oxygen to come in. I'm not a scientist, so I can't get into all that stuff for you. And it lowers your fear and anxiety. Hello, chaos, fear, anxiety. Those are two really big emotions that come up with that. All right. Oh, okay. That was the first one, breathe. So I would love to hear, how was that for you? Was there anything that you experienced doing that that you didn't expect, or anything that you'd like to share? Put it in chat. Again, that's how I know you're still with me. I don't know. Maybe you did some breathing and you disappeared and you're still you're in Lala meditate land now. I don't know unless you let me know. So please post in chat. Let me know how that was for you whilst I have a sip of my tea. And breathe. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're going to move to tip number 2, but please, yeah, do please post how that breathing was for you and anything that came up. I'll pop back into that screen in a few moments and check it out. So, tip number 2. All right. I told you I was going to tell you the story of the black fluffy cat. So many of you know, because I've shared it on Facebook, that we lost our beloved Aussie in the week before Christmas. Um, and I'll probably cry as I tell you this, although I'm feeling pretty good right now, and I'm going to tell you why as well. So far, so good. And Christina said, and thank you, please post because I'm going to need some. I feel like I'm going to need some interactions or interruptions as I tell you this story. Christina says, makes me calm down after a stressful morning, signing a new lease after 23 years. Oh, first of all, yay that you signed a new lease. Awesome. So you're talking about that. And yeah, so nice and calm. Okay, so we lost Ozzy a week before Christmas, physically lost him. He's lost. We do not know where he is. Now, this is the worst grief that I have had in easily over a decade. And I want to emphasize this point with my mom passed away last year. And I had more grief over this. Now, there's lots of reasons for that. And without going into all the details, I mean, partly it's just because of how I handle things now. And, the other part is mom lived to 94. We had a very good life with her, and her quality of life was going down towards the end. So, but also we knew where mom was and we were with her when she passed pretty much, within a few hours. We didn't know where Ozzy was. It was horrible. He went missing, our 3-year-old baby. We didn't know where he was. We went searching for him every day, every night. We called for him. Yeah, it was stressful. So, so that's why when my husband came home and said we saw a black fluffy cat crossing the road, my boots were on and I was out the freaking door. It's because if there's any chance, I'm going after it. But I will add that we had some animal communicators we communicated with during that time, and we're quite certain that he's no longer with us. My dog wants to come in, so I'm going to keep talking to you. That's why. So I have these in my ear so I can keep talking to you. So we're quite certain he's not with us anymore, but that does not, for 1 minute, have me lose hope that he's coming back by some miracle, that baby boy is going to make his way back to us. And so we did go and get two new kitties a month ago or so because my son was having surgery and Ozzy was his cat, and my son Finn, who you met, has anxiety, and he was looking forward to having Ozzy while he was recovering, and Ozzy was missing. And so we got those two little kitties that we met you, which have been a godsend to us, and just in terms of talking about turning chaos to calm. They're chaotic, but they add so much calm to our lives. So let me just fix my. Okay, I just wanted to fix so I could see my comments on Facebook. All right, so dear Ozzy, so it's the worst grief that I had had in a decade. And let me tell you that everything I'm teaching you and everything I learned and everything I've been using got tested over those couple of months, big time. So what I want to share with you with the second tip is what if up. So this is a strategy that I use and I have taught many times. I did the Let Money In workshop where I went through this recently. And so we tend to, our default is what if, and we go to negative thinking, right? So Ozzy went missing, and what did I think? The same thing. What if he's gone? What if he's trapped? What if he can't get out? What if he's injured? What if he's suffering? What if? Drove myself crazy. But I know I need to shift those moments. You can't stay in those moments. And I also know something else. So you have to be open to what's possible. And what I know, without a doubt, is this is what's possible, and this is our view of what's possible. So when you go into what if down, which is down thinking, negative thinking, it's all that negative energy stuff. And that's where we go. That is our default. That's where we go. That's what we do without question. So the what if up is where you shift that. And I played with this like crazy for that. Well, so that was the week before Christmas. We searched for him for a good month. So that would have been the end of January. And then we kind of resigned ourselves to the fact that he was either going to come back or not, and there wasn't anything more we could do other than pray and hope. So you have to be open to what's possible. Be curious. So the what if up is where you get very curious about what might happen. What if someone took him in? What if he's found a new home? What if he passed quickly? What if he wasn't meant to be here anymore? What if he fulfilled his purpose with us and he's gone to do another one? So do you see how it started to shift the energy of where I was to where I wanted to be? Now, I will tell you, I got pulled back into what if down and I did what if up. I got pulled back down into what if down and I did what if up. This has been my savior. This what if up technique has been my savior for so many things that I've gone through in the past 2 decades. So be curious. And you can also create an ending. I mean, I don't I don't know if we don't know how powerful we are. We're pretty darn powerful. So, create an ending, which is just create your story, create the ending that you want. Obviously the ending we wanted was Ozzy showing up. And still to this day, yesterday I was walking through the house and I heard something and I looked out on the deck and I hoped that it was Ozzy at the door, like he is. He jumps up at the door. So I decided to create an ending where he's at peace. and whatever that might be, right? So I didn't want to label it. And so if he is meant to come back to us, he will show up at the window or show up at the door, and we will welcome him in and love him and hug him and kiss him. And if he is meant to go on and do greater things, then I'm trusting that he's off doing greater things. So I'm created my own ending with that. Or something better. This is really important because, again, this is our view of what's possible. The teeny tiny little dot in this big circle. So there's always the potential for something better. We don't know what it is. You can't label it. You don't know what it is. You just want to leave an opening to what's possible because it could be something better. And so that's my what if up strategy. That's tip number two. And I'm curious to know, so again, I want to make sure like you're all here, right? And so tell me, is that something, do you do that now? Or do you tend to go to that what if negative thinking, start thinking about all the terrible things that can happen? Or you're the kind of person where you do shift it and you look at what if that's possible? What if this is possible? I want to share one more piece of this too before we move on from it. So if you do have some comments, leave them, but I just want to share another little aspect of this. And that is, and I had this conversation with one of the members in Shine membership, and that is that we tend to assign meaning to things. Actually, you know what? I'm going to hold this. I'm going to hold this for a second because I think this relates to tip number three, or it certainly connects tip number two to tip number three. So I'm just going to hold off on sharing that with you just for a moment as we move to tip number three. All right. So that was tip number two. Tip number three. Oh, here we go again. And you can look at the pictures, and I think you get a pretty clear, idea of what this slide is all about. This, so these are the situations in your life where you're just, it's the same thing. It's the same thing happening again. Why does this keep happening? Why are we back here? Why are we doing this again? Why are we having the same old argument? What are we even arguing about? Right? And so this is where I want to bring in what I just said I was going to bring in with you into you. I'm just checking my comments. If anybody has anything there. And so we tend to assign meanings to things. We make them mean something, right? So if you get into an argument with someone over something, what do you make it mean? What do you think you make it mean? Again, feel free to post that in chat, but I'm gonna answer the sentence. And I think there's a delay because the messages come in. I don't see them until I move on to the other part. So I see Christina posted a message. I'll come back to that in a second. So what do you think we make it mean? Well, usually it's only a handful of things. Usually we make it mean they don't love us, they don't respect us, they don't appreciate us, they don't care about us, we're not lovable, we're not worthy, right? That's what we make things mean. So let's just use an example of you don't get the promotion at work. Well, your initial what if down or meaning is I wasn't good enough. They don't value me. They don't appreciate me. Let's say you're having an argument with your spouse again. What do you make it mean? They don't love me. They don't respect me. They don't appreciate me, right? So here's my story with this. So I was having that typical argument that you have. We've been married a long time. We were arguing about something. I don't even know what we were arguing about. Even if I did know what we were arguing about, it was probably stupid. It probably made no sense. And in fact, I remember thinking, here we go again. I don't know what we're arguing about. We're just arguing. There's no end. We're angry at each other. And I'm so tired of it. And I walked away because this is what I do now. I've noticed our arguments are very different now, and they don't last as long, and there aren't as many. And but I'm going to tell you what I did in this moment because this was a very pivotal, shifting moment for me. So I walked over to the dining room table and I started to fold clothes. And while I was folding clothes, I used one of the strategies that I've used many times before. And I'm going to unveil it now. And that's a Ho'oponopono technique. So I want to know if you know what this is. Have you heard of the Ho'oponopono technique? I'm not saying it right probably. Ho'oponopono. Because you have to do a little hesitation there. So it's a Hawaiian prayer. And I'd love to know if you've heard of it, if you've done it, if you know what I'm talking about. So just say yes or no in the comments. And so I was folding clothes and I was frustrated and there were tears streaming down my face. And I need to go to my spiritual toolbox. So Christina's heard of it, Dorothy has not. So I need to go to my spiritual toolbox. So I open it up. It's not an actual one, it's in my head. And I picked this tool. So the Ho'oponopono is a Hawaiian prayer. And here's the point that I want you to get from this, because it's so important. This point is so important. So there's a particular member in Shine membership. I'm not going to name you because I don't have your permission, but you're going to watch this replay. I know you're not here. And this speaks to you so much. As she and I have talked about this so much. Forgiving is so difficult for some people. So forgiving someone is the most selfish thing you can do. And when I heard that initially, I couldn't wrap my head around it. In fact, it took me years, I think, to wrap my head around that. And I just want to say before I go on with this that forgiving is not condoning. And I think it's very important to make that different differential because forgiving is not condoning. When you forgive, it is the greatest gift that you can give yourself. And I'm going to talk about that. So the Ho'oponopono prayer is 4 lines that will energetically change that how I want to say this, 4 lines that will change the energy between you and another person or you and yourself. All right. The first line is, I'm sorry. Now, when I started doing this, I got in the way a little bit and I wanted to finish the sentences. Don't do that because you can get stuck. Well, I'm not sorry. He's not. So I'm not sorry at all. He's the one wrong. He's the one doing the things I shouldn't do it, or she or whatever. So you just want to trust the process. So I'm sorry. And you could simply, if your mind gets in the way and your mind will get in the way, you could just finish it with, I'm sorry this is happening. I'm sorry this keeps happening. And you're not going to say that part. It's just that you'll say, I'm sorry, and your mind will go somewhere. So again, you want to just kind of control that a little bit. So the first line is, I'm sorry. The second line is, please forgive me. Now, again, I've used a little twist with this where I've said, because I had such huge resistance to saying, please forgive me, that the words would not come out of my mouth or go into my head. Usually you just say this in your head. And so I have switched this line on occasion to I forgive you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. So you can play with that. But I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Okay. So again, don't need to finish the sentence. But, if you want to, we'll talk with that. I love you. That's a Ho'oponopono prayer. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So I'm standing at the dining room table. I'm folding clothes. We just had a big fight. We didn't come to any conclusion. I just walked away. I think we both did. It was frustrating. I'm folding clothes. Tears are running down my face. And I start doing the Ho'oponopono prayer. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Fold. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Folding clothes, folding clothes, saying it in my mind, saying it in my mind, say the tears rubbing down my face. And I just keep saying it. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Sometimes I just go into it with that extreme energy just because I need it in the moment. And I'm not kidding you. I'm standing there doing this, and my husband comes up behind me and he puts his arms around me and he says, I'm sorry. That never happens, ever. Typically, we fight, we hold on to resentment, we keep picking at each other, we keep bringing things up. That never happened before. And in that moment, I was blown away by the realization of how energy shifts a moment, or how moments shift the energy, and how using a tool like this is so powerful. So I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes. And I just want you to say, and this could be, you could think about, if you want to think about someone that you have some kind of disagreement with, or there's some ill will between you, or one of my spiritual teachers did this with her sister. They just didn't get along, and family events were always very uncomfortable. I did this with Ozzy when he left, again, just creating that energy between us. I mean, there's a number of things that you can do. So if you want to think of a situation or a person, please do. If you don't, it's okay. You're just going to do this and feel the energy of it. You're going to close your eyes, take that nice centering breath, and say out louder to yourself, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And do that another couple of times quietly to yourself. Oh, did anybody sigh after they do that? Did you yawn? Did you notice anything? Did somebody come to your mind? I'd be curious to know how you received that. And while you're coming back to this space, I just want to share again kind of a little bit of the, more sciencey stuff, a little less of the woo woo. So when you say I'm sorry, you're letting go of the guilt and sorrow. That's what's happening in that moment. When you say, please forgive me, you're moving into forgiveness. So this kind of goes back to that consciousness chart that I shared on the page. If you didn't see that, go grab that video. It's well worth the 20 minutes to watch it. So you're moving from guilt and sorrow to forgiveness, which is a lighter energy, a higher energy. And then you're moving to gratitude, which moves you even higher up on the consciousness chart into a higher energy. And then you're moving into love, which is the highest energy of all. So I just want to give you some words if your mind gets stuck on this, because I had a friend and I tried to teach her this. No way. She was pure victim mode, never going to be out of victim mode. And there was no way she was saying I'm sorry to this person these people that she felt wronged her. It was not going to happen. So some of the words I just want to give you, this is the what if strategy. So I'm sorry this is happening. I'm sorry we're doing this. I'm sorry we're here again. Because you are. Even if the person's an ass and you feel like it's their fault, you're still sorry that we're here again. There's still a sadness around that. Please forgive me for engaging in this, pushing your buttons, being a part of it, not helping you move out of it, right? So just kind of giving you some other words that you can use if your mind feels like they have to fill it in it. And this is happening, by the way, in a nanosecond. It's not something you're going to put in the prayer. You're not going to say it. I'm just giving you some things that you can give your mind, your monkey mind, if it's too busy hanging on to the what if down, not what if up. Thank you. For what? You just had a big fight. Well, thank you for showing this loving side of me. Thank you for showing me this loving side of me. Thank you for allowing me to practice a skill in the moment. Thank you for creating this uncomfortable energy so I have so I can see the difference between the uncomfortable and the uncomfortable. And then I love you. There's no dot, dot, dot after that. I mean, that's it. Assumably, hopefully, you love this person in some way for something. And that's the Ho'oponopono prayer. So let me just jump over here and see. So that was my post comments on who had seen it. Okay, so if you do have anything you want to share from that experience, please do let me know. That was tip number 2. Ho'oponopono. And was that tip number 3? Yeah. Sorry, I didn't change the slide. That was tip number 3. I'm like, huh? You're only on 2. I told you this was like 30, 45 minutes. And I think I'm running to the end. And I am, because we're at the end. Okay, so that was your 3 tips on how you can move from chaos to calm in any moment. And I'm very big on having this spiritual toolbox. And you put these tools in and you start to pull them out when you need them. And going from chaos to calm is so important because we have so many moments of chaos in our lives that when I put the recommended workshop strategies in, that was the one I've been playing around with that idea for a long time. Now I'm going to do a very much more in-depth training program on that because that's only 3 tips. Well, again, we could probably be here for the next 2 hours and have 20 tips. but I'm likely going to come up with the top 6 or 8 because there's so many more and expand out more and give you more exercises and things you can do on that. So just keep an eye open for that. I will be launching that sometime in the next month or two. I hope. Not making any promises. There's a lot going on. But I hope you enjoyed that. So please let me know. I would love to know if you did enjoy that. Was that what was your takeaway? What was your one big takeaway from those 3 tips? And while I'm giving you a moment to do that, so I'm going to drop over here and I'm going to bring some of this up. So Christina, I love the way you explain the emotions with the prayer. Oh, thank you. When I was getting this ready, and this was quick, like I knew I wanted to do this. I didn't exactly know what I wanted to talk about. I just knew that I had a lot of strategies to share. And when you guys picked this topic, I only decided yesterday morning what the topic was, and I had to get ready for today. So I didn't want to overwhelm you because I wanted it to be a short session. And we're 45 minutes in, so I said 30, 45 minutes. I know it was a little longer just because of the housekeeping. So again, I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Like this group, you're my sounding board, and I feel so safe coming here and trying out these new technologies and knowing that you're here to support me and give me feedback and just immense gratitude to you all for that. And so I didn't know what I was going to do. And then I thought, what are the 3 tips that I want to teach? And I came up with these 3. And then Honoponopono, I mean, I've never taught it. I've just done it for myself. In fact, I'm currently doing a certification course in it. So you're probably going to see me do some more stuff with that. But I was looking at, how do I want to break this out? And yeah, the emotions, right? Because we just say it and then we don't always look at what is happening here. What is this doing? And then when I started to write them out, I thought, oh my gosh, this is the consciousness chart. Like I love how everything just comes together and connects. It's so, so cool. And so thank you, Christina, for sharing that. And yeah, and thank you, same thing. Thank you for the emotions. So Dorothy said the same thing. So that's really cool that you both commented on that. And that says a lot to me. So that's one piece, one I definitely obviously will keep in, and I may even expand upon that. I think I'll bring the consciousness chart into the full presentation. And I think, yeah, and is that you, Dorothy? This is very helpful. Yeah, thank you. All right. So I asked my husband to vacate for an hour so I could do this, and it's been an hour, and he's back, and he needs to have his lunch. So I won't, um, I won't continue to take up our living space any longer. So I just want to say a huge thank you. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. And I'm just going to go back to there. There's Tucker. And I'm just going to bring my banner back to say my goodbyes. So there we go. Oh, actually, I'm going to put, what do I want? I'll put this in. So just before I end off, thank you. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. And I'm feeling so calm now, even with everything that happened. And, I just keep hanging out with me. There's so many ways you can hang out with me. So we can hang out in the private group, which we've been doing, which is where you saw this posted. So let's keep doing that. And of course, readings, there's various ways that you can get different readings. I sent out a meditation, your life's journey meditation. So if you want to do that, there's a way to book a discovery call with me afterwards. It's free, and let me know what came up. It's a gift for you for checking out my meditation and giving me some feedback because it's a new process that I've done. And Shine membership, I think I posted a few things on that. I do have a couple other things that I'm posting there, but that's where we hang out in a more intimate level. Every month we have a group call, and then there's some private readings on that as well. So I will just continue to, there's Tucker. I'll continue to share all of that information in the group. Other than that, go have a great day. Lots of calm. Let's bring lots of calm in and just carry you through this Monday. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to end the broadcast now, and you have a lovely, glorious day. And as always, keep shining that beautiful, brilliant light of yours. Bye, everyone.